All right, HBCU Legends fans, it's Kyle T. Mosley here once again, bringing you one of the more iconic sports figures as well as head coaches in our day. This guy has gone to a Celebration Bowl, but a lot of people don't know he's also been a Division I FBS coach, and he has a winning record. We're going to talk about that as well. But the Howard Bison, I know they usually give my Morehouse College guys a lot of flack, and the only time we can say we could beat them is on the basketball court, but on the football gridiron, Coach Scott, you guys take it every time, but it's all in good fun. How you doing, Coach Scott?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
Good, man. It's good to see you again. Last time I had a chance to speak with you was over at the HBCU Legacy Bowl game with Doug Williams. But Coach, last year you guys had I wouldn't say the type of year you wanted to follow up on the Celebration Bowl, right. But this year you guys got a lot of exciting outings that you're going to be a part of, like the Orange Blossom Classic, the New York City HBCU Classic as well. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on what's to expect for the Bison in 2025.
Yeah, I think one thing you can expect, we, as you said, we come out of the Celebration Bowl. We're excited about what we have built and the direction that we're going. And to reach a couple hurdles last year, which we found ourselves in a couple games where some of our youth and some of our immaturity in certain spots will show up in critical situations and cost us some games in which we were all in and had opportunities to turn the tide and win those games and just didn't have the ability to do it. It was kind of a reset year for us of teaching some young guys that have been put into some critical roles on how to win. And what it takes to win, and the focus and the attention to detail and the level of want to that you have to be a champion and understand when you are a champion that there's always a target on your back, and that every week you got to go out and be the best version of who you are, the best player you can be, and the attention that comes with that, the attention to detail, the focus that you have to be able to do that. So it was kind of one of those years where we kind of had to get over those hurdles and teach and reteach young, talented players what that's all about. And so you got a group that's returning that had that experience now. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're smarter, they're tougher, they're more disciplined. And with the offseason these guys have gone through from January to now, they're more together. And so I think you got a team that's hungry. They've learned from their mistakes. They've learned from the critical errors. They've corrected those errors. And they've pushed each other and brought others along with them as we've added new faces and other young players to the program. They've helped indoctrinate those young guys to what the culture is here that we've built here at Howard, and how important that everybody be locked in and focused on what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And so you'll have a hungry team that don't like the taste of what they tasted last year, and I'm going to go out and have a focus, week in and week out to really show who we are and what we've built here. So I think you got a young, hungry, poised, more focused team than what you saw last year.
All right. Well, that's great. But you lose some great veterans especially on the defensive side with Kenny Gallup Jr., Robert Jones, as well as young Xavier as well, right? Yeah. And I had a chance to speak to Noah Miles earlier a few weeks ago, and he gave me some insight to what to expect with Bison as well. Very impressive young man there with all the sacks that he had last year. When he was telling me about you as a coach, he said, you got to love Coach, because Coach Scott gives you the opportunity to be yourself, but he also disciplines you well when you're not focused.
I think that's key, right? I mean, we got 105 young men on this football team. And I don't want 105 people that are exactly the same. I think that's boring. I think that's still. And I think when you have an opportunity to work with young people, man, you want them to always be able to individualize, express themselves, who they are, their background, their experiences, what they've seen, where they come from, and unite every one of those guys under, our guys, under our core values, under the discipline structure that we have in place, but allowing them to figure it out and be comfortable in their shoes and being the person that they are. but bound by certain principles that bring us together. So at the end of the day, I truly love that each one of them are individually who they are. It makes coming to work fun every day to interact with all the different personalities and who these guys are. One conversation is different from the other guy and what's going on with him. And I have a full now since COVID. This is the first time that every young man that's in the program was, hand selected and recruited and sat in the living rooms and know their parents and all those things for the first time.
Wow.
Every one of these guys, came in under the guise of how we do things, which is based around family, which is based around relationship, which is getting to know their parents and getting to know them. And the individual Mondays that we sit down with them and we just talk life. We don't talk football on Mondays. Mondays is kind of a mental health check-in, academic check-in for us. And so now you're truly getting to see how all those relationships and those experiences that we had has intertwined into our program, into the fabric of who we are. So I think we're excited about this football team. We're excited about where we are now because this is truly ours. Every young man that was already in this program, we made ours. We adopted and made them who we are, a part of who we are, and love them, and they'll forever be a part of everything that we built here in this program. But now we have it to where these are the guys that, from the very first inception into the program, everyone in every class, they've all been picked and selected by us. So just excited about each and every one of these young men, where they come from, what they've been through, some of the trials and tribulations and things they've had to go through in their life before Howard and things they've gone through while at Howard. And to see that all come together and what we're doing right now from January to where we are right now, it's been really special. And it's been fun. It's been a fun ride this offseason. It's been hard. It's been disciplined. It's been a lot of hard work. It's been, it ain't all been roses and rainbows. So it's been some tough times. But where we are right now, I think it's gonna show, and it's gonna propel us to the type of season we want to have this year.
Wow. So you got your fingerprints on this whole class, and that's important. But that's a credit to you to think about when you came in 2020. I know that was a COVID time, right? Mm-hmm. But also to be able to have your team to be first place twice, one time going to the Celebration Bowl, and I think you guys tied with NCCU one year, right?
Yeah.
To think what you have been able to do with those teams, with guys that you weren't totally yours, that's a great testament to you as well as your staff.
Yeah, and a testament to those young men, for buying in. They wanted to be coached. They wanted to have a level of success that they hadn't had and wasn't having here. So they weren't having exactly the type of experience they wanted to have at Howard. They've been through a lot. At that time, for some of them, I was their third head coach in a 3 or 4 year span. So it was tough times for a lot of those young men. Sort of bring some stability to the program, which we've kept the nucleus of our coaching staff here and the things that we've done. And we don't deviate for what we do. We just find ways to do it better, which means, we still hold to our same principles and things like that. So it was a testament to those young men that wanted something different. They bought into something fresh. They worked hard. They bought into the work. They led when we needed to lead, since they still were some of the older statesmen and OGs in the program. They had to step up and still find ways of leading, and did that. And so it's a testament to them to help us turn the tide and set the foundation of what we want to have building forward. So those guys are still very much cemented into the history of what they've done here and what they were able to accomplish by buying in. So every one of those young men are special. Will be always a part of the story. And that led us to putting these young people now that are in the program in position to carry that on and trump it and do better and sustain that and not be this 1 year, 2 year. We had 2 years a row of finishing first place, either tied, and then so the level of consistency was starting to be where we wanted it to be. And we had a little bit of a dip, and now it's time to get it back to where we want it. But not only get it back where we want it, the object is to keep it there.
Yeah. Well, this season, and I know you guys are going to have the MEAC Media Day coming up next week. You have a lot of, I would say, big name stars in the coaching ranks coming your way with guys coming from the NFL, Michael Vick, as well as Deshaun Jackson. But look at what you, Coach Oliver, Coach Berry, Coach Wilson have been able to do as well. That the MEAC is fielding some really, really good talent at the head coaching spot.
Yeah.
Talk about the challenges going against those guys to be able to win the conference championship this season.
I'll tell you, when I first got here and I'm going to some of the meetings and you hear the guys talk about how tough in conference play is, and your first year you go, wow, I think we go over, or win one in conference, and then after that we kind of turn the tide a little bit. But they're right, week in and week out, this is a tough conference to play in. There's some tough places to go and play. Some really good and well coached teams. I mean, Coach Oliver and the level of success they've had down in Central. I've always watched Coach Berry and his track and what he's done and the places that he's been, and his level of success just kept going, taking off, and he's in the right place for him. And as far as what the makeup is and where he's from and how he's built, so they're going to always field tough teams. Coach Wilson is one of the best in the game. I mean, I think been always kind of understated because he's not a guy that's looking for all the lights and the glamour and this and that. He just works hard and goes to work and put really good products and football teams together on the field all the time. So, I mean, those guys have been, doing this and doing it for a long time. And they're the same type of people that helped develop a Mike Vick when Mike Vick was a high school player, right? When he was a college player. Deshaun Jackson, when he was a high school player and a college player. Those same type of men that developed them are the men that are Coach Berry, the men that are Coach Wilson. So, it's a testament to who all of us are in the mix that we come from. And then obviously Deshaun and Mike were great, players at all levels, high school, college, and pro. They're players that even I, probably being the youngest of all of those coaches, grew up watching and probably the most closest to an age to watch play and those type of things. Even when I was, starting my early coaching career, those guys were pros. And so watching them with our players. And so it's fun to also kind of bring that all together and see them want to give back, to a sport and to young, and get back into and pour into young men like somebody did to them. So it's a testament to the type of people that they are, the men that they are, not only great players, but, to take on, the awesome responsibility that we have to be called coach and want to do that and do it in the places that they're doing is a testament to who they are as people. So I'm truly excited about, being around those men, being in the same room. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, we're all competitive. I want to kick their tails every time we get ready to line up and play, and no doubt about that. But we all have the same job. We're all doing the same things for the same reason, and that's to help young men and young people be successful and make an impact while we have an opportunity to. So kudos to them, and I commend them for, wanting to step into these things, step into this position and do those things. When we line up, I want to kick their butts, but I'm very excited about being in the mix with this group of men in the MEAC as we all chase, obviously, championships and chase graduation, but as we all chase, helping young people be better.
Yeah, definitely. It should be very exciting. You guys are going to be at M&T Stadium. The NFL has bought in as well to be able to showcase HBCU talent as well as what's going on with Vic and Jackson. But let's talk about your crew going into this season. You have a great season opener at the Orange Blossom Classic against none other than Florida A&M out of the SWAC, but previously in the MEAC. Talk about how that matchup going against Coach Cozy and his Rattlers are going to take you guys down into Florida. I guess it's going to be at Hard Rock Stadium, right? So that's going to be a really good one to open the season.
Yeah, you talk about coaches like Coach Jackson and Coach Vic. I mean, Coach Cozy, man, I grew up watching the Charlie Ward era, right, of Florida State football. And James Cozy was a big key to that on that back end. So if you don't know who James Cozy is, what type of football fan and student of the game were you? So he was just like one of those elite, flashy players, was fast, and played with a swagger and all those type of things. So I expect this Florida A&M team to match that swagger. I think obviously they're a team that's in the state of Florida, so they're going to be built around speed and swagger and those type of things. And a lot of what we're trying to, the things of the makeup we're trying to build here, obviously would be in our academic acumen. But I think you're going to get a really good football game. I think you're going to get two teams that have come familiar with each other. I think they're going to always be a team that's at the top of the SWAC conversation as far as being in the mix for winning that conference, and we want to be a team that's always in the mix on the other side of it. So I think when you get a chance to always play at the top of the food chain of both conferences, man, you get a chance to build something great. And when we're down there talking about it, I was like, how sweet would it be to, open up this thing and then all of a sudden close this thing out to again in the Celebration Bowl with a rematch, and start to build that acumen between us two, because when we want to aim at the top. And they're going to always be sitting right there, I know. So I know they're going to have a really good football team. They're going to be fast. They're going to be athletic. It's going to be hot. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Miami, but two great brands clashing in a great city like Miami. That's what you want to set it up as. That's what you want to open it up as. That's the kind of excitement you want to have around college football, what you want to have around HBCU football, because the next day you got Miami, Notre Dame. So you got Florida, you got Howard and Florida A&M. You got, I think, FIU's playing with
FIU's playing.
All that. So you have a lot of things going on in that city all at the same time, and to be a part of that, and be in that mix of the TV revenue and the TV exposure and all those type of things that's coming from that. That's the position you want to continue to put our program in for us at Howard. But I think that's the light that all HBCUs should continue to have an opportunity to shine.
Yeah, definitely. Look, you brought up some very good points. One, being there, having that spotlight, being on ESPN, I believe, right?
Yep.
And also having you guys just to showcase the talent under your new class that you and your staff were able to recruit is going to give you guys some really pivotal, I'm going to say, games going forward as well, because then you guys, a few weeks later, I believe you meet Morehouse at MetLife Stadium at the HBCU New York Classic.
Yeah.
And that rivalry, when I was at Morehouse, man, it was always just fun to go up to Howard because we knew we were going to lose. But just to go to Howard and just have a great time was the deal. And a couple of times you guys came down to the house as well. But do you see how Coach Mathis and his team has been able to grow? Because they played you guys pretty tough that last fourth quarter to just try to get back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that once that team continues to take on Coach Mathis' personality and who he is as a man, as a coach, and as a person, they're going to be really good. They're going to be competitive year in and year out. I think Morehouse has found the right guy for that job and the right place in Atlanta with his background in Atlanta. And Morehouse, I think that was I thought that was really well done by the administration and that hire. And as I've been around him, when I had a chance to be around him last year, his personality is infectious. Obviously, it started to infect me a little bit with who he is as a person and as a man. So I know they're going to be competitive. They're going to be a better football program, a better team than they were last year. And you're right, they really poured it on, and you saw them start to believe. You saw a change in that team from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. And I really didn't follow them kind of how they did the rest of the year, but I knew that they had to have some bright moments and things that they, built, that they have to build, and they had to build on. And then this offseason, I'm sure they went to work at it really hard, and coach is going to have them primed and ready to go and be a much better team and a much better program than what they've been in the past. And then when we kind of took an early look at them this summer, they're returning a lot of players. They're returning a lot of guys.
I think he likes that fact. Some of those guys are going to still be with the program and didn't kind of walk across to Clark Atlanta or go elsewhere. They stayed home at Morehouse. So
that tells you a lot about him and his staff and the job that they've done with those young men. And I think that's going to help them be tremendously better. And I think we're going to have our hands full. That's for sure.
Well, good. I like to see great games, and just being a part of that Howard Morehouse rivalry has always been just fun to be a part of. But the Bison, you guys have really good talent that you talked about earlier, and I always like to be able to kind of spotlight the talent and have people to get to know who should we be looking out for 2025. So talk about your offensive stars and some of your defensive guys, just a couple of those guys, so people can know who they are.
Well, first, I think we can start up front. Everything for us starts up front. I'm excited about our offensive line. We've had some young guys,
Being an old offensive lineman yourself, right?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited about the job that we've done there and what Coach Ray has done with that group of developing some of our guys that, we just needed to develop. Last year was the first time for a lot of those guys getting a chance to play and play meaningful snaps and those type of things. So the growth that they've gotten bigger, stronger, smarter, more physical, all those type of things. More technique, better with their technique and all those things. So excited about it. Tim Artists of the world and now have his opportunity. Tavares Rosses of the world to have his opportunity. Xavier Ricks, who started out with us, and then last year we moved him over to defense, and then we brought him back this offseason, and really emerged and stepped in there as a left guard for us. And he's a big, strong, physical dude that's really athletic. That's going to give us a chance to be really strong and stout inside. And then, to have some of the young, long tackle bodies that, needed a chance to develop. We're at Howard. We're not going to go out there and compete with the P4s and P5s of the world that's recruiting the 6'6", 300-pound ready-made high school tackle. We're taking the young guy that's 6'4 and a half, 6'5", 6'6", but he may be 260 pounds in high school. And now those guys are 300 pounds. These guys are 295 pounds at 305 pounds and 6'5", so they've gotten bigger, stronger, and we've given them a year or two to develop, and now it's their turn, and they're really athletic, so we're excited about some of our young tackles and things like that up front. And then we added some pieces of some grad transfers, some guys that have played a little bit of college football that's going to come in, one being from Florida A&M, the other from Towson, another guy from Wheeler University. So we got a couple young, talented guys that we've developed that's been in our program for 2 years, 3 years that we're super stoked about and excited about. And then we got a mix of older guys that are coming in that's going to join us for 1 or 2 years that have some experience. They're 21, 22 years old. They've been in the fire. They played some college football. So got a nice mix there. And for the first time, we're sitting at 18, 19 offensive linemen in the room. So we'll have depth and be able to play a lot of guys. And we're big and we're strong and we're physical and athletic and lean. And so we're excited about that group up front. You have a guy like Braylon Smith on the perimeter who's been now, he's going to be been in the program for 3 years. Made a lot of plays for us, but now he's stepped into a leadership role where he's the kind of elder statesman in the receiver room and has done a really good job adjusting to that, adapting to that, and had a really good spring, a solid, off season. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster. He's always been really athletic and been a playmaker. But now to have him now be at 20 years old as opposed to 18 years old, you get a different body type, you get a different player.
I like the way he tracks the ball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he's a punt returner too, has punt return ability and those things. So we're excited, really truly excited about what he's going to give us on the perimeter. And then, we added a grad transfer from what's that from? It'll come to me in a second. That he's from Florida originally, but he's 6'5", long, athletic body type that tracks the ball well too. That'll be out there on the outside, and I think we've signed probably 4 of the most talented freshman receivers in all of HBCU football. I'll be willing to roll the dice on that. And these guys are 6'2", 6'3", 6'1". They're strong, they're athletic. They're really good, and I'm excited about our tight end group. KD Mosley returning, who had a hell of a year as a true freshman, kind of a breakout there. Nate Clark, who's probably, Nate Clark is 6'5", 245 pounds, and probably the fastest athlete on our team. Can really run, athletic, track the ball. Montreal Walker, who's another big 6'3" body tight end. So we're excited about our tight ends, and which will help, with our run game, obviously up front, because they're big, stronger, physical dudes that can run, and they can cause mismatches on the perimeter, which is really exciting. When you have a guy like the Nate and the KD that are 6'3" plus, that are all 4'6", 4'5" body speed type guys that can catch the ball too. We can cause some mismatch problems for you on the perimeter that way. And then obviously I think we'll have probably one of the more talented backfields in our conference with Eden James returning for his senior year.
Really good back.
By the name of Travis Kearney, who played a little bit for us last year, and then we shut him down because we knew he was going to be really special because you had a Jared Hunter and all those type of guys. Okay. I think he's due for a breakout year, and I think everybody real quickly to know who this guy is really fast. And then, you still got a host of 2 other backs that will be behind him too. So we got stable backs in the backfield, and which is going to allow us to do what we do and want to do really well, which is, set up a lot of our pass game and play action and those type of things through how well we run the football. So I'm excited about that. You return a guy like Jason Scroggins, who, the only way you get better as a quarterback is having an opportunity to get out and compete and play. And he had his ups and downs and took his bumps and bruises and all those type of things last year, and has really learned and climbed back in the saddle right back in January and wanted to get better from the film room to the weight room to getting bigger and stronger and, technique and throwing and all those type of things. So he's really went to work hard and he's played a lot of games and has a lot of experience under his belt now. So I think you see a better version of him. And then we added a transfer quarterback that we're excited about in Tyreek Starks. That's coming to us from FAU that is going to bring us some experience, that has played a little bit and been around and truly athletic and can really throw it. We're excited about the competition that's going to be at quarterback for us. We signed a young freshman quarterback as well out of Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, that we're truly excited about. TJ Russell, we had some Florida background and then moved to Alabama. His father's military, so great family, really good kid, really good athlete. That truly believe that we're going to be in good hands in the future with him as he continues to develop and things like that too. So kind of excited about the offensive side of the ball. It's got a lot of nuances and a couple new pieces, but where we need to be, kind of experienced and stable, we are. And that's up front and in our backfield, and then we'll be able to add the talented young playmaking experience around it to complement it. And then our tight ends, I think, are going to be guys that can make a difference in what we're doing.
All right. I like what I hear so far, Coach.
Yeah.
All right. I don't like to dismiss the defense, but just give me a couple of defensive leaders that we need to be keeping.
That's probably where I'm most excited. We made a change on defense and coordinator and took up the staff just a little bit. I felt like our staff and our defense needed a little energy, a little jolt. And I think I got one of the brightest up-and-coming young defensive coordinators, and Kashawn Jarrett, that's now going to take over our defense and coordinate it and calling and running. Our staff has a lot of energy, and the kids have responded to him really well. We're going to be really aggressive on defense. This guy played in the Bud Foster defensive system at Virginia Tech when they had all those great defenses. And, has always proven himself as a player, as a 7th-round draft pick that goes to the Commanders and becomes a starter. And then has a career-ending injury, and then obviously found his passion back in coaching. He brings that same energy and same fervor to the young men every day. Bright in the schematics, part of it, really bright in technique and all those things. So I'm truly excited about what he's been doing with our defense in this offseason. And the excitement that's been built around, I think, is going to be a very special group. We've gotten bigger, we're fast, we're running the ball, we're physical. And we're going to have a scheme that, I think we're going to keep people on their toes and kind of wondering and guessing what we're doing and where we're coming from, when we're coming, are we coming, and all those type of things. We'll be able to match groupings and personnel groupings pretty well with our athletes because we have a diversified group of guys. And one of the ones I'm truly excited about, probably starts right in the soul of it, is our linebacker group, with Cam Dyson, who's returning and played a lot of football for us, who's a physical, long, big, athletic kid. And to complement him, you got a guy like Judah Majency, who is kind of the heart and soul of our defense and the heart and soul of our football program. The guy that, when I got here was a walk-on, that walked right into earning himself a scholarship. He's a graduate. He's done it all right here. He's 6'3" himself, 6'2.5", 6'3", 225 pounds, and can run and athletic and will strike you. And I'm excited about those guys. And the young Jaquavian Smith, who's a young guy that's going to be a sophomore now, that brought the juice and energy right away as a true freshman, and it was just like, this guy's going to be special. And now he's 6'2" and he's 230 pounds and he runs like a scalded dog. So we're excited about that linebacker group. And a lot of other young guys that are just coming to the program that we walk in the weight room, we go, where do we find these guys? So I'm excited about that group, which is the pulse. And then up front, starting with Noah Miles, I think, you got a guy that's the epitome of how we want to play. His energy and the way that he plays the game and his motor is kind of spurning the rest of them, like Derek Brown and, Jason Seraphin.
Look, hold on. Before you go on to Jason, Noah is very charismatic.
Yeah.
I loved talking to him, man. And he has a great passion to him, and I could see why he was at the level he was. I think was second team
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. He said, "Oh, we ain't gonna be no second team this year, Mr. Mills." I said, "Okay, all right, I got you, man."
Yeah,
But go on.
and he's the kind of guy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the kind of guy that's if he says it and he says that's what he wants to do, he's the kind of guy that you look forward to watching him make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's behind his words come a lot of energy, and sometimes you just have to help keep him channeled. But but he's showing us that in the way he's been training. He's showing us that in the way he's been doing with our PPL and player-led practices and OTAs and those type of things. He's done a really, really good job, man. And the guys around him have been forced to match his energy. And so when you get those big guys up front matching his energy,
that means a lot. Yeah.
Like Jason Seraphin, who has a lot of energy himself. So they're two and they're peas in a pod. They're always together. You got a guy like Derek Brown, who we've been waiting. He's so big and strong and athletic, 6'4", he's almost 300 pounds. He can play inside, outside, on an edge. He can do a lot of different things. And I think
at 6'4". Wow.
Yeah, he's kind of due for a breakout year where he's going to be a guy, one of the main forces in there that people will have to deal with and see and be able to handle in a lot of different positions, no matter what we're doing front wise. I think he's going to be a matchup issue for a lot of people. And then you got, a guy that we were really excited to bring back and get back involved and get going in the program, CJ Wesley, who when we recruited him, we thought was going to be probably a 3-year guy or somebody we don't have to worry about leaving here or whatever. And he had a little hiccup last year, but now we got him back in the program, got him going as an edge, jack, rush, pass rush specialist type of guy that I think is going to really be special. And then we had some grad transfer pieces in there too. Bryce Hall, they're coming to us from Penn. Keon Mitchell that's coming to us from San Diego State, who's another big, 6'3", 6'4", 290-pound body that can move and do some things. So we're going to be bigger, longer, athletic, I think more violent and more explosive up front than we've been as a collective. And I'm excited about being able to roll and play a host of guys up front, not just the same guys that can get worn down and get tired. We can roll, I believe, 7 to 8 and, maybe 9 different defensive front guys to get things done and help be impactful. So along with that defensive front, the linebackers and guys up front, I think we have a really talented young secondary. And the beautiful part about this is they've had to wait 2 years behind, some of the guys that we've had in the secondary. Xavier Rubio, they had to wait behind. Robert Jones, they had to learn, develop, and wait behind. Play a little bit, play on special teams, play sparingly. But now they're the guys that are out there. So, Kendrick Green, who had to play, behind our All-American, of 3 years and had to wait his turn. But he stayed in the program. He kept getting bigger, stronger, and smarter, and developed. And now he's hungry, and now it's his opportunity to step in and fill those shoes. And he knows that filling the shoes of Kenny is going to be a lot. But he's ready, and he's smart, and he's bright, and he's communicative. He's on our leadership committee. He heads our leadership committee. So he's another one of those type of guys that knows what it's all about, has paid his dues, and is ready to explode and have his opportunity. So although they're going to be young and kind of, experienced because they played a lot on teams and played a lot in games and certain packages, but now it's their turn. So this group of young guys, corner, Joseph Tabe, we're super stoked about, We got a lot of really good pieces back there that I think people are going to be kind of shocked by about how talented we are back there with speed and size and physicality and those things. So I'm excited about what our defense has and what it's going to bring, and that's going to be the fun part more than anything else for me to watch and see come along. Because hey, they can't win if they can't score. So that's something that we're truly stoked about.
Well, look, it sounds like it's a great group. And I can't wait to see what you guys are going to be able to do other than when you play Morehouse. But going into the season, I know you guys have big goals and lofty visions that are out there. And of course, everybody wants to get to the Celebration Bowl, right? But if you had to just talk about that experience when you guys were able to be at the Celebration Bowl as a head coach, what were you thinking And I hear some guys, especially when they talk from the NFL, that say, "Hey, man, we thought we were going to get to the Super Bowl multiple times, but we only got one time. But if we had to do it all over again, we'll do this."
No.
What would it be for you guys over at Howard?
Well, I think for us, what we learned from going the first time is that the process of getting back is a process that starts right away in January. Right, you have to close that door. That was great. That was awesome, and get back to the process-driven approach to getting back. And so I think this year that's what it's been. There's been a whole lot of talk about Celebration Bowl and doing it again and going. And I'm a guy that always keeps the end in mind. I'll never change that about, you always want to move and work and keeping the end in mind. What do you want that to look like? What do you want that to be? So you have to keep that in mind as you take the day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, month by month, week by week approach to getting to it. But you have to know what that looks like. So then you're framing it the right way on the front end, and you're approaching it the right way on the front end in your processes and how you're doing things. So I think for us, it was an experience that kind of led to guys understanding that if this is what you want and this is what you have, this taste, and don't ever lose this taste. The only taste I want you to focus on not having is defeat. Right? It's not good enough to just get there. That's a lot of people get to those moments. It's the people who are the only one that's raising that trophy at the end and standing in that confetti. All right, so keep that desire, keep that thirst, keep that hunger for wanting to understand what that is. So it's just not good enough to get there, right? It's just like it's not good enough to win the MEAC in 1 or 2 times. You want to win it every time. And you want to get to this game and you want to win that game. So we still have a lot to learn, a lot to play for, a lot to process through, and those type of things. So I think getting there was an awesome experience, right? How it had never been. It had been 30 years since they had won outright a conference title. So there was a lot of things that we had done that hadn't been done in a long time. But that ain't good enough. Yeah, it's to be commended. Yeah, great job. I don't ever want to have a goal and you reach a goal and don't know how to celebrate what that goal is, right? Yeah, damn right. You celebrate it and you do all those things, but then after you're done celebrating it, close the door and be ready to do it again. Now it's important.
That's important. Yeah.
How to do it again. How to do it again is more important than anything else. So I think, it was a great experience. I won't take that away. For those young men to have an opportunity to do that for our university, to have an opportunity to be there and have that stage and share who we are, not just everybody knows about Howard and his academic prowess, right? And his academic standing and all the greats that are, have walked these yards and walked these hills and those things. And they know about that. But Howard is great in a lot of things. And it's synonymous with excellence across the board. And so to have an opportunity to represent our brand and who our university is on the athletics side of things, in a championship game on national TV to start bowl season, just speaks to the depth of how great Howard really is. And that's something that we need to continue to build on, something we got to continue to hold and carry dear to us in our work and our process of what that means, and have a process-driven approach towards getting back there. So I think what we learn from it is that it's not good enough to just get there. Right? You got to win it. And how do you do that? You got to get there first again.
Yeah.
So our process has to be right. Our approach has to be right. Our mindset has to be right. And that starts right away in January. And I believe we had the right mindset and approach towards what that needs to look like and be like this past January. And I like where we are right now. We start training camp here in 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today. We'll be already in practice too. So we're excited about that. That's right around the corner. We still got, 11, 12 days to prepare to get ready for that. So just stay focused on what we have to do to win this Thursday and win this moment. So that's where we are, but that's what we learned, and that's what I'm excited to see our response to.
Well, and good luck. Congratulations. I think you guys are going to lay out a pretty good plan. I think the MEAC is going to be very, very interesting to watch the entire season, especially when you guys get into conference play, battling one another. Coach, tell everybody how they can be able to find you out there on social media.
Yeah, Instagram is at Coach Scott Cooks. I kind of run my Instagram synonymously together with who I am, the person, and also who I am, the coach. try to stay transparent that way and how I do that. And then on Twitter is at Coach L Scott 70 on X, should I say? And then we're all on HU Bison.
Yeah. I keep doing that same thing. X or Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah. And we're all on HU Bison Sports through the the Howard website. So that's where you can find me and all of our coaches on socials and all those type of things. But you can also get onto HU Bison Sports and buy tickets for the Orange Blossom Classic. Howard alum and Howard family, we need you. We have an allotment to sell and get through and make sure that we have our representation in Miami on that Saturday afternoon. I know Florida A&M and being in their home state in Miami, they'll be there. So we need our people to buy tickets and show up and come support our brand in Miami on that stage at that time. So we need you, Howard alum. Come on, let's go, baby.
Yeah, look, I heard from a couple of Bison alum, and they said the ticket sales have been doing a lot, very well, and a lot better than last year ticket sales. I understand for the Orange Blossom Classic. So you guys are doing your job already, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
we just got to keep it going. We got a few weeks and a month. Well, we got over a month to get to keep it going and rev it up a little bit more. So let's go, HU.
Yeah. And the battle for the real HU, that's always very important. And that's going to be on HBCU Go for you guys this year, correct?
Correct.
All right. I can't wait to see that one as well, because the Pirates last year, they did they shocked some people with what they were doing in the program. So we'll see how they trend again this year. Coach, congratulations. Good luck to you in 2025. Yeah. And as I tell everybody, we like Bernie Mac. You're now part of the HBCU Legends family. You can't get rid of us. And we're going to have you back in the future. Okay.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And I look forward to it here in the future.
All right. Thank you. That's Coach Larry Scott of the Howard Bison. And you can see those guys opening the season at the Orange Blossom Classic against Florida A&M. All right. Thank you, Coach. Take care.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. See you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye.